In the last lecture, we talked about some ideas for practicing and refining your speech skills, continuing your work of becoming a good speaker. I want to talk now a little bit about increasing your ready stock of words, being able to have a number of words right there at your mental disposal so that you can use them in a speaking situation. This is a matter of verbal dexterity. In the Middle Ages, there were these handbooks of letter writing, Ars Dictaminis, and they would model multiple ways of writing the same letter plainly or richly to a variety of audiences. And the Renaissance humanist, Desiderius Erasmus, was particularly concerned with this in terms of copiousness. So he filled pages upon pages with variations of phrases, one of them being, "Your letter pleased me greatly." Hundreds of variations on that phrase. Now, you don't have to do that, but you should have multiple ways of approaching a phrase. So, one exercise you can do is just one day you sit down and just draft out a sample sentence. Or this is something you can pull from a newspaper. You just grab a sentence. In mine, since I'm having you do a big quiz this week, it could be some students argue that quizzes are punitive. So that's my sentence. What I want to do now to increase my copiousness is just try coming up with as many variations of that phrase as possible while still capturing its key core idea. So first off, I'd start by coming up with synonyms for the subject, students. So I could say learners, classmates, people, the educated, collaborators, the literati. I could go through and come up with synonyms for the verb, which in this case is argue. So assert, challenge, question, claim, propose, postulate, indicate. Then go through and think about synonyms for the direct object. So in this case, quizzes. So quizzes, short exams, educational checkups, tests, response questions. And then go through and find synonyms for remaining adjectives or adverbs. In this case, punitive. So punitive, damaging, hurtful, mean, unnecessary, punishing, penalizing. And once I've got all these sort of various synonyms, I can start running various iterations of that sentence. So maybe I first want to start by just running the sentence through a different verb. So students claim that quizzes are hurtful. Students challenge the merit of damaging quizzes. Quizzes are an unnecessary attack on their grades, some students propose. And of course, we must recognize that, that learners often question the value of quizzes. So if I've got that, if I run it through different verbs, maybe I want to run it through a passive construction. To some students, quizzes can be unfair and unnecessary. Maybe I want to try to phrase it in a sort of a negative phrasing. Damaging quizzes are disliked by many classmates in no small measure. Nothing is more frustrating to students than a questionable quiz. Maybe I want to take it and run it through a metaphor. Those in pursuit of knowledge feel quizzes as bludgeons. Okay, all of these ways of coming up with permutations on that one sentence are there to help you increase your stock of words, increase your copiousness. And ultimately, that's useful. But you need to hammer out your skills against the anvil of experience. We know this. This has been, I hope, a beneficial class for you to get some ideas and to get some practice. That practice must be taken out and run up against a live audience if it's going to truly help you. So don't shy away from these speaking opportunities. You must seize them, because the goal isn't simply to craft a single good speech. The goal, I would say, is for you to become a good speaker, for you to develop the abilities, the skills, and the judgment that allow you as a person to become a good speaker, who therefore does good speeches. So we'll end our next thoughts here, things that you can be doing after the end of this class, and I'll simply say in the final lecture, we'll just tidy up the last comments of the course, and then we'll be done.